Imagine improving your swimming speed by 50% in just 10 weeks. Sounds impossible? Meet Brody, whose journey is capturing the attention of triathletes from around the world. He's decided to go from zero triathlon experience to a full Ironman in 7 months, targeting the Port Macquarie Ironman in May 2024. All the while documenting his journey along the way on his YouTube channel. With a background in Aussie rules and skydiving, yes, skydiving, Brody chose to explore a different path, something totally outside of his comfort zone, in an effort to raise awareness for osteosarcoma, a rare form of bone cancer. 10 weeks ago, when Brody first walked through the doors at his local indoor pool, he could barely swim.
This is my first ever swim. I struggled. First time I've ever contemplated like what I'm doing. 4K swim. That wasn't even a quarter. Genuinely wrecked. Like,
the only thing a person with no experience in swimming does. Not call a coach. Hop straight onto YouTube. I watched so many YouTube videos to try and figure out how to swim. I really had no idea what I was doing. My second bout of swimming, after understanding you're allowed to actually breathe out underwater, probably saved my life. Although on my second session of swimming, I increased drastically, I thought it's probably best to leave this one with the professionals to fix me.
Where is Brody at now with his swimming? What would I recommend he work on with his technique? I met up with Brody at the pool to get an answer to these questions.
So great to be down here. What we're going to do today is some underwater filming. So I'm going to film Brody from a couple of different angles. I'm going to take a look at that footage on the iPad, and I'm going to see if is there 2 or 3 key things that he could focus on in the next couple of months to make him a bit faster, make him a bit more efficient, and bring those times down. So not only by the time he gets to race the Ironman that he makes it through it, but also just feels comfortable with it and is hitting some good times. So that's the plan today.
it's the plan. Hopefully I stop feeling like I'm going to drown. And yeah, that's it. And we might end it off with a little bit of a challenge, but we'll leave that to the very end.
Let's do it.
I asked Brody to swim 100 meters at Ironman effort, where I wanted to capture multiple angles to uncover exactly what he was doing in his stroke. You won't believe the 3 simple changes we discovered in Brody's technique that anyone can apply. But the real shocker, the result of our 50 meter race. Stay tuned for a finish you have to see to believe. Before we reveal Brody's 3 areas of technique to work on, comment below what you think they might be. The very first thing that we look at is the head and body position. If you imagine running with a tire strapped behind you and you're dragging it along behind you, it's kind of like what it is to swim with your hips and your legs low. It's just extra drag that's unnecessary. So looking here, you're swimming quite well in terms of body position, but if we draw this line through the body, you'll see that that sits a bit too far below the horizontal line here. The first thing we always check with that is just where's your head, where are you looking? Now, generally you're looking in a pretty good spot, but at times I think you look a little bit far forwards. And if we go above the surface of the water here, you'll see that about half your face is in, half your face is out at times. So what I'd suggest there is just look slightly further down and get comfortable pressing your head in the water just a little bit more. The thing I find with most people who are pretty new to swimming is it takes a little bit of time to get comfortable having your head in the water. There's something about being new to swimming where you just want to try and keep your face in, but not have 80% of your head in. So I just want you to get comfortable keeping 80% of it in. So that'd be the first thing that will help bring your hips up, but it's not the only thing. The other thing is the timing and what you're doing with the catch in front. So if we have a look at the above water shot here, one of the things we want to aim for on each stroke is to be in the front quadrant, meaning there should always be something in front of your head. So if we draw a line in front of your head, you can see at this point, you haven't really got anything out in front of you. So it just means that you're pulling through a little bit too soon on some strokes. This is great where you've got something in front. If we go to the next stroke, on that breathing stroke, you can see right there that there's nothing in front of your head. So the timing's just a little bit rushed with this arm when you take that breath. So the next thing I'd recommend there is think about entering and just taking a little bit longer to reach out. You're not gonna stop on that arm, but I want you to just feel like you're skating on that arm out in front before you pull through. Now, as I said, it's not every stroke, but it's just on some strokes there. So if you can just get comfortable reaching and extending out the front, and just slowing that part of it down just a fraction, particularly on those strokes where you're breathing, that's going to help you with your overall balance. Because otherwise, basically at this point, you're only that long in the water. So that's a big reason why the weight of the legs, the weight of the hips starts to take over. Whereas if you can just hold a longer line for a little bit longer, it's going to help overall with the balance. Now, the other thing that can cause the hips and legs to drop is just what happens out the front with the arms. Now, if most of your catch, which is this movement from here to here, if most of that is pressing downwards, that lifts the chest up, but it often drops the legs. So what we'd want to work towards on each stroke here is just getting the hand and the forearm to press back a little bit more as opposed to down. And you actually do a pretty good job of it on some strokes, but I think on most of them, you're probably just pushing down a little too much. So that'd be the other thing that will help bring the hips and the legs up. Now, I'm just gonna skip to this front view here. Next thing I want to show you here is the rotation. So this would be the second thing that could use just a little bit of adjusting. Now, if we look at the rotation here through the shoulders, you can see there that the rotation's pretty good, getting to about 23 degrees. Try and get that to 30 to 40 degrees on both sides. So you can see there on that right side, perhaps a little bit under rotated. On your left side, that's a good one. Have a look at your breathing stroke there. You can see just over rotated on your breathing stroke. So what I want you to work towards there is fairly even rotation, 30 to 40 degrees side to side, so that particularly when you take that breath, we want to make sure we're not rolling all the way on our side with our hips and our shoulders, because that's what can cause you to lose balance and stability. So next thing we'll work on is just even rotation side to side, making sure that you're not going too far or too little. Then after that, what I'd look to work towards is developing the catch. And as I said earlier, you're going through some strokes here pretty well. Like this here, you've got a pretty good paddle that you're working with. You want to try and get this surface area underneath the arm and the hand and forearm, pressing back in that direction. So you're doing quite a good job of that through some of these strokes, which is great to see. If you have a look from this front view, one thing you might notice though is on some strokes you go a bit deep and a bit wide. So if you look at that position there, where we want to try to get to at that point is just with the hand staying narrower than the elbow. And you'll notice that the hand at the moment is just a little bit wide, a little bit deep. Here as well, if you have a look at that catch position there, keep your upper arm there, that's great, but bring that hand in here. That is where you can just be so much more effective with the stroke. So there's a bit of a tendency to drift wide with the hand, or sometimes go a little bit too deep. Now I think some of that's just from the those other things, the timing, the over and under rotation. So that's why I'd want to work on those couple of things first, and then work on the catch as the last thing. So that's the order that I'd look to follow things in. So let's jump in the water. Let's start working on some of those things and making those adjustments. After we watched through his video, I had Brody get into the pool and run through a few drills and exercises to begin working on these things. To help with head position, I had him do front kick drill, where initially his head was too high during the drill. When he got his head further down and to the right depth, you could see his hips rose to the surface. And when he carried that head position into his swim, the body position improved as well. Next, it was time to work on rotation.
Now I just want you to think about the rotation. So with the rotation, 30 to 40 degrees from your hips, start it from your hips. So just think about this nice gentle rocking side to side. Nothing crazy like you're twisting, but just this nice rocking motion left to right. Head position's great. The rotation, so your rotation looks better where you're going a bit more through your hips, and so with your recovery, you're not swinging around as wide as you were. Does it? Yeah, good. It looks very much that way. And the hips have come up pretty well there too. So those because often you change one thing and then it's got this domino effect. And I think we're seeing that with the rotation where it's just helping with your recovery. Now, I'm gonna get you to do a drill with the fins on. I'll get you to put your hand on top of this. You're gonna push it, you're gonna press it down in the water so it's just below the surface. So it's about shoulder depth there. And I want you to kick with your eyes down, arm by your side, and you'll be about 45 degrees on the side. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge to stay balanced, all right? But I want you to just push that down. Keep the arm in line with your shoulder. Yeah, but not grabbing it, just placing your hand on top. That's it. So you'll be face down, turn your shoulders to 45 degrees, hips to 45. When you need to breathe, you can just turn and get it, and then go eyes back down. So they're holding the long line from his fingers to his toes. Arm on top's relaxed. You see he's very streamlined on his side there. That was great.
After rotation, we worked through some sculling and catch drills to begin developing the catch, which I have to say, for someone who's only been swimming for 10 weeks, Brody was already doing very well with this. I asked Brody to swim a few 25s to bring those things together.
So you got better rotation there. Recovery is not as wide as it was, and the head's in a good spot. Kick's starting to relax a bit too. That was nice. What'd you do differently there? Look down? Yeah. Yeah, gotcha. That was really nice. Rotation looked good. Recovery was in a better spot. So yeah, do that again. That was nice.
One thing we found was that Brody was breathing every 5 strokes, which was contributing to his feeling of running out of air.
In training, I don't mind if you're doing every 2, like now and then, even for like 60%, 70% of your session. Like I'll breathe every 2 strokes for the majority of my session. Sometimes I'll do every 2 to the opposite side just to even it up. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with swimming like that. Okay. As long as you do occasionally go to the other side still. Because that looks, it looks a lot more relaxed that way. Yeah.
I don't struggle breathing at all.
Yeah. I reckon you're just not getting enough air, breathing every 5. It's just, it's too big of a gap in between. So that alone, I think, should help bring your pace down a bit. So we're doing a 50 freestyle. He's going to get a 12-second handicap. So we're thinking he might go a 40, I might go 28. So we'll see. I don't know if that's going to be fair or not.
We'll try our best. It's fair for me. That's like before the game. I want to win. I think you won.
Ooh, I think you might have got me. What's the replay?
After a race which would rival Phelps and Cabbage in the 100 butterfly, it was time to call it a day. Go check out Brody's YouTube channel and follow along with his journey on the road to Port Mac Ironman. If you'd like to watch another video of a triathlete who's dramatically improved their swim, click here.